motherfuckers. Oh, thought it wasn't gonna let me. Alright, but anyways, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Quadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and salutations to the Akim out there spreading this truth like wildfire in all truthfulness and in all sincerity. Alright. I want to go into these articles. I'm going to show you a video first. And basically this is the game plan of the elites. You know, Biden, Biden and the left, they were set up to bring in chaos. And Trump and the right are going to be brought in to bring in order. I may be wrong, but it seems like this is the plan of the elites. You know, and the Republican Party has always been the party of law and order. So it makes sense that they would be used to bring in the MOTB. You know, Trump and them. And don't believe what he says about no CBDCs, because he says something about a Visa tracking system, something like that, but like a traceable tracking system for to prevent so-called illegal immigration. Now I'm gonna show you a video by the elder brother Amawan Gabar. It's a repost of this dude that's going into it. Could be Esau, could be Jake. That's going in, but he looks like Esau. That's going into how they set up Biden. They set up Trump to bring in the MOT to the B. Hold on, let me get it.
The immigrants illegally coming to this country is going to lead into the mark of the beast for the American citizens. And I'll explain to you why. Just remember who built the wall, and I've always said this from the beginning. That wall was never to keep them out, it was to keep us in. In order to fix a crisis, you have to create a crisis. Trump said on his first day back, he's going to have the largest deportation in the history of America. Now that the illegal immigrants are all throughout the country, how are you going to be able to monitor and make sure that they're out? This is where they are going to implement a system that is going to watch Americans and watch the illegals. First, it will start off by marking all the illegals, but the sole purpose was always designed to mark the Americans. They would never be able to convince or force us to do that. But again, if you create a crisis and you use it against the illegals and the system is up and running, eventually it will be pushed on the American citizens. And it could start off being used with people with DUIs, sex offenders, etc. And from there, it will continue to grow in this country, and they will use it where they see fit. And eventually, it will be used throughout the United States. And that is exactly how they will force the mark on the American citizens and get away with it without question. How can a man lose an election that was rigged and come back and win an election? He lost his re-election. They had to sucker you in. He had to set up all his stuff prior, his pre, to plant the seed in your head, and then they put an imbecile in the office that would make anybody look good.
Biden.
The whole United States is for
Obviously.
Trump. He will win because it's rigged. And when he comes in, the change is not only in America, it's going to be throughout the world. It's going to bring about the New World Order, the Great Reset, the beast system. You mark my word.
And this is the man that people think is going to prevent the Great Reset. He is being used. He is going to be used to implement the Great Reset. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like what happened. And the apostles of Great Millstone, they've been saying that Nero is going to come back, and Trump is Nero, reincarnated. If you can see it, if you can receive it.
Words. This technology, when he becomes president, will be used on the illegals, and then it will be used on the American citizens. They are using our freedom against us. Our freedom is our downfall. There's too much, and we will be punished because of what they allowed to happen at the borders. Do not take the mark. Accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Don't be deceived by no man.
Yo. Let me get Revelation 13. We'll start at 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand on their foreheads. Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Verse 18, here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. And we go back to the first verse I read, Revelation 16, and he causeth all. He causeth me. When you go into cause it, it means to prepare. One of the meanings is to prepare. They are preparing all to accept the MOTB. You know, and they may just use this devil Trump to bring it about, man. The so-called man who's gonna save America, man. They may just use him. We may just use him because the Rothschilds set this devil up, man. Slakia. The Rothschilds set this devil up. We get it. It's a reminder for y'all. Who is Wilbur Ross? Wilbur Ross served as the Secretary of Commerce during the Trump administration from 2017 to 2021. Known as the King of Bankruptcy, quote-unquote, Ross is an investor and recapitalization specialist who helped Donald Trump avoid personal bankruptcy during the 1990s. Ross is the former chairman and chief strategy officer of his company, W.L. Ross & Co., LLC. Early life and education. Wilbur Ross was born on November 28, 1937, in New Jersey. He earned a bachelor's degree from Yale University in 1959 and an MBA from Harvard University in 1961. He began his career as an investor and bankruptcy specialist at Rothschild & Co. before forming his private equity firm W.L. Ross & Co. LLC in 2000. King of Bankruptcy, known as the King of Bankruptcy, or quote-unquote vulture investor, quote-unquote, Wilbur Ross is regarded as a specialist in recapitalizing distressed assets. As the senior managing director and bankruptcy restructuring specialist at Rothschild & Co. during the 1990s, Ross is remembered for helping Donald Trump to avoid bankruptcy when his Atlantic City properties were financially distressed. After resigning from Rothschild in 2000, Wilbur Ross founded W.L. Ross & Co., LLC, with $444 million in investor funds. Known for investing in distressed companies in industries such as auto parts, steel, textiles, and financial services, Ross formed both the International Steel Group, ISG, in 2002 and the International Coal Group, ICG, in 2004 through a series of mergers and acquisitions. Wilbur Ross has served as chairman or lead director for more than 100 companies operating in more than 20 different countries. U.S. Department of Commerce. On February 18, 2017, Wilbur Ross was sworn in as the Secretary of Commerce under President Donald Trump. In his role, Wilbur Ross ensured that U.S. entrepreneurs and businesses had the tools they need to create jobs and economic opportunities. Additionally, he was tasked with overseeing the Census Bureau, the National Weather Service, and the Bureau of Economic Analysis. Ross directed trade policy and called for the U.S. to free itself from the quote-unquote bondage of unfavorable trade agreements. In the CNBC joint op-ed with Trump economic what's an op-ed? Op-ed of or being a newspaper page, usually opposite the editorial page, that features signed articles expressing personal viewpoints. Of an article written in a style suitable for publication as an op-ed. Of a person generally expressing viewpoints by means of op-eds. Let me go right here. Alright, but in the CNBC op-ed, joint op-ed with Trump's economic policy advisor Peter Navarro in July, Ross criticized previous governments on trade negotiations, including the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, when our politicians and diplomats negotiate trade deals, we lose because we don't know a good deal from a bad one, they wrote. Paradise Papers in November 27, 2017, while Ross served as Secretary of Commerce, the German Okay, I think I got to the point, man. The bottom line, Wilbur Ross served as Secretary of Commerce during the Trump administration. His experts in recapitalizing distressed assets in industries such as steel and textiles garnered him the moniker, quote-unquote, king of bankruptcy. And while he worked for the Rothschilds, he bailed Donald Trump out, man. And Donald Trump owes them because he bailed them out. We not ignorant of Satan's devices, man. Let me get that. Second Corinthians chapter 2. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And then let me get Ecclesiastes or Sirach 5 verse 15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or small. And we also get this, because a lot of you jakes are trusting in your enemy, man. A lot of you jakes are trusting in your enemy. A lot of you jakes that went for Biden are going for Trump. Not saying that Biden is the good guy. He's your enemy too. He was just used to bring the chaos. But let me get Ecclesiastes or Sirach 12:10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Verse 11, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped the looking glass. Thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. Verse 12, set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And now at the last, remember my words to be pricked therewith. And y'all are literally going to be pricked therewith when they put that MOTB in you. When they put that chip, and I ain't talking about a potato chip. When they put that thing in you, man. Verse 13, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? Verse 14, so one that goes to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? Verse 15, for a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. Verse 16, an enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if you find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. Verse 17, if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first, and though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. Yup. Though he pretend to help with the so-called illegal immigrant situation, yet shall he undermine thee. Yet he is going to promote the mark of the beast. Verse 18, he will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. And let me get this right here. This is an interesting poem that Donald Trump read, man.
I just found out you can check police alerts on this app. I thought my neighborhood was safe before looking at this. Yeah, I'm not walking outside.
Who has heard the poem called The Snake? So I have it. Does anybody want to hear it again? You sure? Are you sure? Okay.
Before he reads it, you have to consider the possibility that maybe he was talking about himself.
So let's dedicate this to General Kelly, the Border Patrol, and the ICE agents for doing such an incredible job. This was written by Al Wilson a long time ago. And I thought of it having to do with our borders and people coming in. And we know what we're going to have. We're going to have problems. We have to very, very carefully.
The crisis that the elites created.
Vet, we have to be smart. We have to be vigilant. So
look it up, actually. The UN and China, they're all in on it. The UN and the Moabites government of China, they're funding this, these caravans and shit, and directing them. So they're creating the chaos to bring the order.
Here it is, the snake. It's called The Snake. On her way to work one morning, down the path along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-frozen snake. His pretty-colored skin had been all frosted with the dew. Poor thing, she cried, I'll take you in, and I'll take care of you. The border. Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. She wrapped him up all cozy in a comforter of silk and laid him by her fireside with some honey and some milk. She hurried home from work that night, and as soon as she arrived, she found that pretty snake she'd taken in had been revived. Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman, sighed that vicious snake. She clutched him to her bosom. You're so beautiful, she cried. But if I hadn't brought you in by now, oh heavens, you would have died. She stroked his pretty skin again and kissed him and held him tight. But instead of saying thank you, that snake gave her a vicious bite. Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. I have saved you, cried the woman, and you've bitten me, heavens, why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die. Oh, shut up, silly woman, said the reptile with a grin. You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in.
Imagine having thousands of melodies like these. This is the emotional.
And he read it in reference to the so-called illegal immigrants. But it could be that he was talking about himself, man. Because he's going to bring in the MOT to the B the second time. You know, it looks like it. It could be a different plan, but it looks like this is the plan. It looks like this is the plan. To you know, to hit y'all with that MOTB. Let me get this right here. Ecclesiastes chapter 11 verse 29. Bring not every man into thine house, for the deceitful man hath many trains, and Esau Edom, he is the ultimate deceitful man. He is the ultimate deceitful man. Look how he did you tribes, so-called Native Americans, and you Latinos, man. Look how he did you so-called black people. Look how he did the other nations. Look how he does his own people. Esau Edom is the ultimate deceitful man. Esau Edom. And let me get... seven abominations in his heart, man. I didn't mean to click on that. Proverbs 26, verse 25. When he speaketh fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. You know, this devil, man, when he speaketh fair, believe him not. You know? And let me get this right here. Ecclesiastes 13 and 6. If he have need of thee, he will deceive thee, and smile upon thee, and put thee in hope. He will speak thee fair, and say, what wantest thou? Verse 7, and he will shame thee by his meats, until he have drawn thee dry twice or thrice, and at the last he will laugh thee the scorn. Afterward, when he seeth thee, he will forsake thee, and shake his head at thee. Verse 8, beware that thou be not deceived, and brought down in thy jollity. You know, and let me get I'm thinking. Psalms 58 verse 3 about him saying he ain't going to implement a CBDC. Psalms 58 verse 3 because he talked about a visa tracking system. You know, visa tracking system. Now what's in a visa? Now you know just the card ain't going to work. You know what's in a visa, you know? A chip. Psalms 58 and 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Verse 4. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear. Verse 5. Which will not hearken to the voice of charmers, charming never so wisely. You know, they are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. These devils, that's what they do. That is what they do. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent. You know, they are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear. No, she's not going to hearken to the voice of charmers, which is Jay. Where you're trying to, you're supporting Trump before you were supporting Biden. Now you tribes are supporting Trump. You know, a lot of you tribes are supporting Trump. When it is written, hold on. Hold on. Deuteronomy 17 and 15. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom Yahweh thy power shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. You know, Donald Trump, man, he's not a Jake, man. He's not a so-called black man, Latino, or Native, and he's not an Israelite foreigner. You know, he's not a speckled bird. And yet, you know, going for him just like y'all went for Biden, man. You know, because why? Because y'all trust in Egypt. Y'all trust in Egypt. This place is spiritual Sodom and Egypt. let me get that. Actually, this Isaiah 28:15, because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us, for we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. Verse 16, therefore thus saith Yahweh thy power, behold, I lay in Sion for a foundation, a stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believeth shall not make haste. Verse 17, judgment will I also lay to the line, and righteousness to the plummet, and the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the waters shall overflow the hiding places, the hiding place. Verse 18, and your covenant with death shall be disannulled, and your agreement with hell shall not stand. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, then ye shall be trodden down by it. You know, ye that trust in Egypt. Isaiah 30:1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahweh, that taketh, saith Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, that taketh counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Verse 2, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Hold on, I'm going to be back. back, y'all. Yeah. That woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, that take counsel but not of me, and that cover with the covering but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Verse 2, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, in the trust in the shadow of Egypt. Verse 3, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. Verse 4, for his princes were at Zoan, and his ambassadors came to Hanes. Verse 5, or the Hanes, pronounce it either way. They were all ashamed of a people that could not profit them, nor be a help nor profit, but a shame and also a reproach. Shame and also a reproach. You tribes, man, trusting in Egypt. Refusing to take heed. Verse 8, now go write it before them in the table, and note it in the book, that it may be for time, the time to come forever and ever. Verse 9, that this is a rebellious people, lying children, children that will not hear the law of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Verse 10, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceit. Y'all want us to say that Babylon can be saved, that Trump's going to save Babylon. Y'all want us to say that. Or for you Biden supporters, that Biden's going to save Babylon. Y'all want us to say that. Y'all want us to prophesy deceits. Verse 11, get ye out of the way, turn aside out of the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Therefore, thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay there wrong. Verse 13, therefore this iniquity shall be unto you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking comes suddenly at an instant. Verse 14, ye shall break it as the breaking of a potter's vessel that is broken in pieces. You shall not spare it, there shall not be found in the bursting of it, but sure to take fire from the hearth, or to take water withal out of the pit. It's going to be unto you as a breach ready to fall. For thus saith Yahweh power, the Holy One of Israel, in returning and rest shall ye be saved, in quietness and in confidence shall be your strength, and ye will not. You will not. You Jakes have always been, this rebellious type, always trusting in Egypt instead of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And, it's gonna end up biting you in the ass. Straight up. It's gonna end up piercing. You're gonna end up being pricked therewith. That includes you, Northern Kingdom, bringing bring your children to the murderer. Hosea 9:13. Ephraim, which represents the entire northern kingdom as well, not just the tribe of Ephraim, which is the Puerto Ricans, but the entire northern kingdom. Ephraim, as I saw Tyrus, is planted in a pleasant place, but Ephraim shall bring forth his children to the murderer, which is Esau. You know, you bring your children to the murderer to be chipped up and eventually destroyed. And if you don't accept the chip, you know they're gonna off with your head. Trump has talked about bringing back beheadings. You know, so this could very well be the plan to bring back Trump. But with that, I hope this video was edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who knew well, and peace and salutations to the Akim out there, spreading this truth like wildfire in all truthfulness and in all sincerity. Shalom, stay strong, Ababa Bo, Wa, Yasharala forever. Ababa Bo, that's a Babylon, Abala Adawamium, that's these Edomites, Abala Kawayom, that's these other nations, Abala Ayevim Nawa, that's the rest of our enemies. That's our enemies, the rest of our enemies being 2/3 of these so-called black people, Latinos, Native Americans, as well as 2/3 of the Israelite foreigners looking like the other nations, being like unto the speckled bird, you know. But you're really Israelites who live here in Babylon, in the land of our captivity. And as well as not 2/3, but as well as the wicked Israelites that are scattered to the four corners of the earth who won't and who ain't gonna repent. Shalom. Death is also coming to y'all. Shalom, stay strong, abide the ball, wow, and Yasharon forever. Shalom.